will be taking out today. So it's a bit of a surprise that very few senior leaders are also out of this. But once again, as I said, caste has taken the center stage here. So that's the reason why you're getting to see more of Lingayat leaders and Lokaliga leaders and other sub-caste balanced as well.
But more than that also, Akshara, we've seen the kind of tug of war which took place between the Chief Minister and the Deputy CM. As far as those 24 ministers who've taken oath today, and in fact taking oath today, Akshara, has there been a kind of a division? My candidate, your candidate, has that balance also been maintained?
Well, you see, right after the CM post was decided, that as well started for the ministerial post, there was a division between the Siddu camp and the DKS camp. They both traveled to Delhi. There were a series of discussions, as you have covered there, and multiple discussions took place. Obviously, Siddaramaiah wanted most of his MLAs to be in the ministerial post as well, to get the ministerial post. At the very same time, DK Shivakumar even he didn't let down his supporters or the MLAs from his camp. Even he wanted MLAs from his camp to win more numbers to be in the particular cabinet as well. But once again, if you take a look at the whole list, I do feel that the Siddaramaiah, the Chief Minister, had an upper hand in getting all his supporters and loyalists to get the ministerial post in this particular cabinet, with 24 ministers being sworn in today, along with the first 8 who swore in a couple of weeks back.
Yes, and that I guess matters really, Akshara, because who's going to have that edge as far as the Karnataka government goes depends a lot on how many of your own people are into it. But in terms of caste balance, do you think more or less that has been maintained? Because I heard you say a short while back, because that's been one of the main considerations.
Well, as I mentioned, if you break down the caste of this ministerial post, 8 of them are Veerashaiva Lingayat, 6 are from OBC, 6 are from SC, and I think 6 of them from Lokaliga community, and 1 from Brahmin Christian, and also 3 members from SC community as well. So they did a hard balancing act in order to keep the results which translate into Lok Sabha polls. That caste equation has been balanced. Remember, this has been done along with the exit parleys, tussle between the DKS and the Siddaramaiah camp. So they had to go through this particular balancing act. They have to balance the caste as well, take into consideration the senior leaders as well. And this time as well, they've taken the caste into primary consideration. Remember, senior leaders like Savadi and Jagdish Shettar, who quit BJP and joined Congress, they were also expecting ministerial berths. But right now what we are seeing is these both two leaders, senior leaders who are responsible for getting the voter share as well from the Lingayat community. Remember, these two leaders are from the Lingayat community, and Savadi played a very important role in the Mumbai-Karnataka region to get this Lingayat votes. But right now he has not been given this particular ministerial post, but other Lingayat leaders have been given.
Do you anticipate that there could be yet another cabinet reshuffle which takes place, not immediately, but maybe after a couple of months? Because that's also how you keep the hope dangling.
Well, right now, we don't expect any cabinet reshuffle, but we'll have to wait and watch how things will pan out. We're also getting in a word from these supporters of MLC DK Hariprasad. Remember, DK Hariprasad is one of the senior leaders of the Congress. He worked very hard for the party, but he missed out on a ministerial post. We are also learning that he's very upset with the fact that he has not been given a ministerial post. And also in the Raj Bhavan, supporters of M. Krishna, party leaders of the Congress party are gathered here. They are protesting, stating that their leader was given the ministerial berth. So these are the factors that might, impact the cabinet reshuffle, but it's very unlikely is what I see.
Okay. So it's not been easy one. There are some sulking faces, because some of them, like DK Hariprasad, Dinesh, Gundu Rao, who I think should be taking oath in a short while from now. Akshara, they had also skipped the oath ceremony, and though they had given reasons like, okay, now let's, Akshara, just let's dip into the oath ceremony which is going on.
Krishna Byre Gowda ಎಂಬ ಹೆಸರಿನ ನಾನು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಮೂಲಕ ಸ್ಥಾಪಿತವಾದ ಭಾರತದ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಜವಾದ ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಷ್ಠೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರುತ್ತೇನೆಂದು, ನಾನು ಭಾರತದ ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮತ್ವವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಅಖಂಡತೆಯನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೇನೆಂದು ಮತ್ತು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಶ್ರದ್ಧಾಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅಂತಃಕರಣಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆಂದು, ಭಯ ಅಥವಾ ಪಕ್ಷಪಾತವಿಲ್ಲದೆ, ರಾಗದ್ವೇಷವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಗೆಯ ಜನರಿಗೆ, ಸಂವಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತು
ಕಾನೂನಿಗೆ abiding by the Constitution. I will do justice for the society.
ನಾನು ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಬೈರೇಗೌಡ ಎಂಬ ಹೆಸರಿನ ನಾನು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಯಾಲೋಚನೆಗೆ ತರಲಾಗುವ ಅಥವಾ ನನಗೆ ತಿಳಿದು ಬರುವ ಯಾವುದೇ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಗಳ ಯುಕ್ತ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆಗೆ ಅಗತ್ಯವಾಗಬಹುದಾದ ಸಂದರ್ಭವಲ್ಲದೆ ಅನ್ಯಥಾ ಯಾರೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ
Krishna Byre Gowda there is taking the oath. Remember, he was the previous agricultural minister in the Congress cabinet from 2013 to 18.
ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ.
Finished taking his oath. He was also one of the few ministers, leaders rather, of the Congress party who were skipped out in the first round of oath-taking ceremony. He's also joined in now, and the powerful Gowda community, and therefore, as Akshara, you were pointing out, need to represent everyone because the eye is now going to be on the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. That's also been the mandate for DK Shivakumar, because he continues as a state Congress chief to ensure that maximum number of MPs come in from Karnataka for the Congress.
Actually, hands of DK Shivakumar. Now, remember, he was the one who took up the reins of the KPCC. Remember, Siddaramaiah and Dinesh also senior leaders came and the Congress party here. They did voluntarily resign. It is during that time, DK Shivakumar took him as was appointed as KPCC by Sonia Gandhi, and he had promised Sonia Gandhi, which he has told that he will deliver Karnataka to the Congress party, and he worked very hard for it. If you take a look at the election campaigning or keeping the party together, together, ensuring that there's no aggressive campaigning on all means possible, and ensure that these efforts have been fruitful. And we can also sideline Siddaramaiah as well. He also was one of the most catchers of the Congress party here in Karnataka. He also has worked very hard to get in the MLAs, getting the votes for their MLAs, campaign the aggressively as well. But once again, Shivakumar was the strategist. All these MLAs together, and also party workers as well. Sure that our party workers campaign aggressively and every constituencies and get this political mandate. And right now here we start from the DK Lok Sabha post. They are also telling that we are on a mission 20 back is possible. So keeping that in mind, they have balanced cash information to ensure that they reach the voter base from all the communities, to ensure that they also not push out to the because they did not inspire. They are also, but they also start a campaign very effectively. They are sending their decision every constituency, every possible to understand what went wrong, how can they retain their voter base as well. So all this also will get the of Karnataka once again taking up the reins to ensure that they will get a positive mandate in the Lok Sabha post.
Yes, Akshara. So we are just waiting. I think another couple of ministers left to go. But just the breakup is that there are 6 from the Lingayat community. And Krishna Byre Gowda, in fact, had just taken oath a short while back. And you were talking about that need to maintain that caste balance. And in fact, that was something which played out as far as, one, the ticket distribution is concerned, choosing the chief minister and the deputy chief minister is concerned. Is that going to be the main challenge? I think from here on, not just the ministers, but, just to maintain this caste balance and also to ensure that no one turns your back, because Karnataka, Lok Sabha elections rather from Karnataka becomes critical.
Yes, actually, here in Karnataka, 2 main castes, the Lingayats and the Uttaligas, play a very important role. And this time, as we discussed, due to various factors, be it solid sidelining of DS Yediyurappa, and also he opted out of electoral politics, though he campaigned for the party, and many other factors regarding Veerashaiva Lingayats, and also main leaders like Savadi Jagdishyatar heading into Congress. These all factors played a very important role in Congress getting the Lingayat voter share. And this time around, they don't want to lose is this. That's the reason why I pointed out that they have given more ministerial berths to Lingayat community. And remember, when it comes to Okkaliga community, the dominant landowning community, the second dominant landowning, second community after the Lingayats, they traditionally supported JDS and the Congress. And BJP tried very hard to make inroads into the old Mysore region so that they tap into this voter base and get these voters safe so that they'll have a positive mandate.
Akshara, I'm just going to come back to you because the ceremony is still going on. We're going to go into a break now and then we're going to continue with the oath ceremony.
Confirmed that in Delhi division we have this OHE tripling problem. It means that current is on and off, and in such conditions the train operations are generally affected, and this is the reason why we have several trains running late. In fact, we have Saptakranti late by 4 hours. Ekta Nagar Nizamuddin Express is almost 4 hours late, and several other trains are delayed as well. So train operations and flight operations are affected as of now because of weather conditions.
Heavy rains coupled with thunderstorms lashed parts of Delhi NCR.
Okay, we're going to go back to Bengaluru. That's a Raj Bhavan. The oath-taking ceremony is taking place.
ಯಾರೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ಅಥವಾ ಪರೋಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ತಿಳಿಸುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ಬಹಿರಂಗಪಡಿಸುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ದೇವರ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ, ಶ್ರದ್ಧಾಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ದೃಢೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇನೆ.
Critical is the distribution of portfolios, because I'm sure they would all want meaty portfolios. Also, do you have any idea? Okay, I'm going to go back to Akshara. So we were talking about the ministers who are taking oath. This is the first cabinet expansion. 24 of them have taken oath today. And it is important because there were some who have been skipped out, some of the senior ones like DK Hariprasad, R.V. Deshpande. But there were some, for example, who were given a miss in the first round of oath, which took place on 20th, which is Dinesh, Gundu. All of them had decided not to attend the oath-taking ceremony, clearly being upset at not being made ministers. But that doesn't mean that a sulk has ended, because there are still some who, like DK Hariprasad, expected that they would be included. But the question which I was asking Akshara, and which I'm hoping to get an answer from him when he rejoins us, is the portfolios. That becomes critical. Harish, we were talking about, portfolio distribution. That's really what I want to talk about now, because Harish, that also matters. Obviously, everyone would want a meaty portfolio, including possibly DK Shivakumar. Any idea on that? Harish, if you can hear me. Okay, I'll try and connect to Harish, but a little dwelling on the portfolio, because once you've inducted the ministers, the headache doesn't really end there. The problem is also that most of them would want meaty portfolios. Harish, I was asking you about the portfolio distribution, because that becomes the next big challenge. Obviously, everyone would want a meaty portfolio. Would that be an easy walk?
Well, absolutely. In fact, what we do know is that most of the portfolios have been decided in this meeting that happened over the last 2 days in Delhi. The thinking within the party is that one person shouldn't get more than one ministry. And that's perhaps why you will have DK Shivakumar perhaps settling for the water resources portfolio or the power ministry. In fact, it asked for either water resources along with the Bangalore development portfolio. But that's unlikely to happen is what we understand now. Because remember, this is a full-fledged cabinet, has 34 ministers, including the chief minister. And many of them being senior leaders would be seeking a high-profile portfolio. And giving 2 or 3 such portfolios to DK Shivakumar alone, the party believes might disturb the balance. And that's why he will either settle for water resources or energy department is what we understand right now. Also, several senior leaders from Bengaluru, so they will have to be managed as well. So the Bengaluru development portfolio, which is considered heavy duty because of the sheer budget that's there for Bengaluru, and the high-profile nature of that portfolio perhaps will mean that one of the ministers from the city will end up getting that ministry.
Okay. What about those who've been given a miss yet again? I mean, are there protests taking place? Have you been able to speak to them or their supporters? What do they plan after this?
Well, there was a minor protest here outside Raj Bhavan. But the party has spoken to several of the senior leaders who have missed getting into the cabinet this time around. Many of them have also been told that there will be a reshuffle, perhaps 2 years later, and then many of them will be accommodated. Some of the senior leaders who said that this would be their last election, they haven't been given a berth. This was one of the arguments of DK Shivakumar, that if there are senior leaders who've been in the cabinet at least 3 or 4 times before, and if they've said that this is going to be their last election, there is no use giving them a cabinet portfolio, because they should get back and work for the party, and we should groom youngsters, or younger leaders should get cabinet portfolio. This was one of the arguments. And perhaps that's why you see the likes of someone like R.V. Deshpande, T.B. Jayachandra, all these people missing a cabinet berth, and instead many other younger leaders have got a cabinet berth this time, several first-time ministers as well.
But Harish, how much of damage, this is just for our assessment, how much damage can, say, a sulking BK Hariprasad or an R.V. Deshpande can do? Because now the focus will also shift towards the Lok Sabha elections.
Well, Pallavi, if you look at the names who've been left out especially of senior leaders, they are not mass leaders. For someone like R.V. Deshpande or even BK Hariprasad, BK Hariprasad has absolutely no standing in terms of the reach towards people. So they believe that he can be pacified, not much of impact on ground or among workers. Even R.V. Deshpande has said this is likely to be his last election. So they don't believe that it would cause any damage. In fact, several other senior leaders who missed the cabinet berth are here at Raj Bhavan now. It's only the others who they believe might damage the party, so they're being pacified. Not too many of them. Putran Shetty, remember, he defeated Somana in Chamrajnagar. He was miffed, but you had Siddaramaiah quickly pacifying him, and he's been assured a deputy speaker post. So the party ensuring that wherever they believe that there's a strong leader who can have impact on ground and is miffed because of missing out a cabinet berth, those people have been spoken to and ensured that they don't really rebel on ground or create any trouble. Also, they are mindful that they've got a large chunk of Lingayat votes because of Lakshman Saudi and Jagdish Shettar. So we do understand Lakshman Saudi has been spoken to by the cabinet, and he's been assured that once he puts in a few years in the party organization, he'll be accommodated whenever there is a cabinet reshuffle. Most probably Jagdish Shettar likely to be given some sort of a post in the planning committee as well. That's what he's been assured right now, because the party believes that it would send out a wrong message if both of them are immediately made part of the cabinet.
Okay. And I remember when Rahul Gandhi had met the Congress president, he said, I'm not going to decide who's going to become the CM, but his wish list was that SC, ST, Dalits, women, all of them are accommodated. Considering a large number of women voted for the Congress party this time in Karnataka, there's just one woman minister.
Absolutely. It's a huge letdown by the Congress party. And remember, this time, whether it's because of promises that they've made or because of Priyanka Gandhi and her appeal and campaign here, the Congress party has done well in those seats wherever the women now voters have in fact voted higher than men voters. Despite that, as you rightly mentioned, just one representation in the cabinet, and at the same time, the fact that Lingayats have voted in a large number for the party has meant that the Congress government in a very long time has given 8 cabinet berths to Lingayats. At the same time, they've remembered that the SC community has backed them to the hilt. If I'm not wrong, around 35 seats that the party has won out of 51, which means they've voted en masse for the Congress party. In fact, all the SC seats have been swept by the Congress party. So around 9 seats given to the SC community. Both these communities together, Lingayats and SC community, have walked away with the lion's share of cabinet berths here. In fact, there's 2 Kurubas, contrary to the perception that Siddaramaiah would be having his own community members in the cabinet. The party mindful that that can't happen. And there's 2 Kurubas in this particular cabinet.
Yeah. And now you made a mention of the reshuffle. I know it may not happen immediately, but that is something which cannot completely be ruled out, because that's usually a carrot which is often dangled.
Pallavi, can you come again? I didn't get your question.
Harish, you mentioned the reshuffle. Obviously, we don't expect one immediately. But do you foresee something happening as far as the reshuffle is concerned? Because that could be a carrot which is dangled to the sulking and unhappy ones who missed out?
Absolutely. Many of them told that perhaps around 2.5 years later, when there is a reshuffle, all of them will be made part of the cabinet. A message also sent out to these leaders that most of them might not be part of that cabinet when there is a reshuffle, because it's a party that has got 135 seats. Remember, they've won in most regions in a dominating, convincing manner, perhaps except for coastal Karnataka. They've done well in Kalyan Karnataka, they've done well in Old Mysuru, they've done well in Hyderabad Karnataka region and Central Karnataka region. So a lot of leaders that need to be accommodated. So all these MLAs have been told that there will be a reshuffle perhaps a couple of years later, and then they will have to make way to newer faces.
Okay. And just once again, if you could recap for our viewers, the kind of leaders who've been sworn in today, what has been kept in mind while choosing them?
Well, three aspects that have really been considered in this cabinet expansion. One is both these camps, DK Shivakumar camp and Siddaramaiah camp, each of them getting around 6 or 7 berths for their followers. Along with that, the cabinet, the party high command accommodating their own leaders that they believe have been loyal to the party, the likes of Eshwar, Khandre and others. And they had to take care of two aspects, regional representation and caste balance, and both of them have been considered, and that's why you see representation given to regions where the Congress has got higher number of seats, and also caste groups that have backed the Congress this time around. The new ones especially, remember, Vakaligas and Lingats, they've backed the party heavily in this election, so they've got a higher number of cabinet berths than usually that we see in the Congress party government.
Thank you very, very much, Harish, for getting us and running us through that oath ceremony. This is the first cabinet expansion of the new Karnataka government. Okay, we are going to shift focus now back to the national capital, where the Niti Aayog meeting is going on. And the Niti Aayog meeting, of course, is not without its politics. Pictures are out of the Prime Minister chairing the Niti Aayog meeting. You can see the chief ministers from several states already over there, but giving a miss, of course, are the chief ministers of West Bengal, of Delhi, and of course, as far as Bihar is concerned. So, Maria, boycotts are not considered to be a very great idea. Niti Aayog becomes a platform where state governments often ask for more funds and focus from the Prime Minister directly. We saw that happening, and of course from the government.
The Minister is expected to speak around 5 p.m. And these are the visuals now coming in of the Niti Aayog meeting. And Pallavi, the General Council meeting gives an opportunity to the centre and also to the states to identify key development issues and then resolve them jointly. There are several key areas which have been identified by centre, states and the union territories that they can all implement jointly. And that is the reason why this 8th Governing Council meeting has identified almost 100 plus issues on which broad consensus has been arrived at the national level, which includes Viksit Bharat program, the MSME idea, the larger challenges including skilling, mobility, migration, urban employment. All those are on card as the Niti Aayog meeting begins. But the big question certainly is as to what is the justification of these states. The chief ministers of 6 states which have decided that they will be in complete non-cooperation with the centre. Aam Aadmi Party-led central Delhi government and also of Punjab government, they have said that, because of that's to do with the constitution, the ordinance that has been brought in by the central government. But what about other states? Mamata Banerjee continuing to be on loggerheads. So is Nitish Kumar and Mr. KCR. So they are of the opinion that they feel that democracy, according to them, is not really functional in India. And if anything, these meetings won't be able to achieve the principles of cooperative federalism. So that is the reason why they are going ahead with the boycott. But the larger question is that if the agenda of this meeting is about implementation of programs in which the centre, state and the union territories, all of them have to jointly play a role, then how will it really benefit the people of these states, the chief ministers of whom are boycotting?
And, Nitish Kumar, for example, till a short time back was the ally of the BJP, but he's saying that, I would have asked for a special status. Do you get a sense that, these kind of boycotts, these kind of not attending Niti Aayog meeting also becomes a bit of a muscle flexing?
Yes, Pallavi, I think it's political point scoring as well, because the political parties of, the chief ministers of these states are essentially saying that how the center has been constantly not helping or supporting the state. That when it is about double engine, then it functions only if the state also has the BJP government. But now that Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav are running the government, they are not getting any kind of support. Having said that, similar argument is being made by Mamata Banerjee and Mr. KCR. But if you look at the data and other details that have come out recently, sometimes we also know that, Pallavi, how these states have also been boycotting and blocking the central government schemes and not letting people benefit from it. So the larger question is, how does it benefit the people of the state for which they are supposed to be providing good governance?
Okay, so Maria, do hold on. Let's go across to some more news, which is now coming. In fact, the Niti Aayog meeting remains the focus, and we know, for example, they have 7 of these chief ministers have already skipped the Niti Aayog meeting, and the government sources are in fact giving information to us that how boycotting the Niti Aayog meeting can actually be detrimental to the states which are doing so. The 100+ important issues which are usually discussed, and the states which of course are not going to be there are going to be missing it out. And in fact, the people of those states where the chief ministers are not attending will not get the benefit of some of the special schemes which the central government may be announcing or already has announced. Some of them which I'm reading out is of skill development, of Gati Shakti. And essentially, this becomes a roadmap. And the whole idea of the Niti Aayog meeting is Vikasit Bharat. So that, Maria, is something, at the end of the day, the chief ministers will have to go back to their home state and they would need the money to carry on with all their schemes. So how will they explain then to the people and justify the fact that the center's benefit of central scheme or money is not going to them?
Yes, that's right, because that's, of course, a political point that they have to make. But if you look at the entire agenda of this day-long meeting, Pallavi, which will get over around 5:36 p.m., if you look at it, it is about what has been done so far vis-a-vis connectivity at Gram Panchayat level, optical fiber cables, if it has been laid properly in a number of districts and in villages. The challenges which also include, action taken vis-a-vis because G20 events are being held in 59 cities across India, in various states and union territories. So what has been done to ensure that infrastructure in those cities are improvised so that the delegates who arrive feel welcome. So all that is part of this conversation. And also, if you remember, the overall GST revenue collection in the month of April has been the highest ever at 1,87,000 crores. And hence the percentage that is being given to the state is also very high, is the larger view that is coming from the center. And that now it is about implementation of the schemes of the central government in ensuring that the center and the state works in complete tandem. The concerns regarding higher education and school education, whether the framework is in place for ensuring that if there is a shortage of teachers, how is that addressed? So all those teething issues that states face, the union territories face, and is being communicated to the center. And this is where the 6 state chief ministers should have perhaps used this opportunity to communicate what kind of support they would need from the central government. But that is what they are missing out on.
That's right. In fact, there was a time when we would notice that Mamata Banerjee understood the importance of having a working equation with the centre. A confrontationist attitude does not always get you the benefits because there are central schemes which are important. Okay, we'll have to go into a break now, but thank you very much, Maria, for getting the details out of the Niti Aayog meeting. Around 5 o'clock is when the Prime Minister will be giving a concluding address.
MLC DK Hariprasad. Remember, DK Hariprasad is one of the senior leaders of the Congress. He worked very hard for the party, but he missed out on a ministerial post. We are also learning that he is very upset with the fact that he has not been given a ministerial post. And also in the Raj Bhavan, supporters of M. Krishna, party leaders of the Congress party are gathered here. They are protesting, stating that their leader was not being given the ministerial post. So these are the factors that might, impact the cabinet reshuffle, but it's very unlikely is what I see.
Okay. So it's not been easy. One, there are some sulking faces because some of them, like BK Hariprasad, Dinesh, Gundu, who I think should be taking oath in a short while from now. Akshara, they had also skipped the oath ceremony, and though they had given reasons like, okay, now let's, Akshara, just let's dip into the oath ceremony which is going on.
Krishna Byre Gowda ಎಂಬ ಹೆಸರಿನ ನಾನು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಮೂಲಕ ಸ್ಥಾಪಿತವಾದ ಭಾರತದ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಜವಾದ ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಷ್ಠೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರುತ್ತೇನೆಂದು ನಾನು ಭಾರತದ ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮತ್ವವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಅಖಂಡತೆಯನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೇನೆಂದು ಮತ್ತು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಶ್ರದ್ಧಾಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅಂತಃಕರಣಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆಂದು ಭಯ ಅಥವಾ ಪಕ್ಷಪಾತವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ರಾಗದ್ವೇಷವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಬಗೆಯ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಸಂವಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಕಾನೂನಿಗೆ
abiding by the Constitution, I will do justice for the society.
ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಬೈರೇಗೌಡ ಎಂಬ ಹೆಸರಿನ ನಾನು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಯಾಲೋಚನೆಗೆ ತರಲಾಗುವ ಅಥವಾ ನನಗೆ ತಿಳಿದು ಬರುವ ಯಾವುದೇ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಗಳ ಯುಕ್ತ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆಗೆ ಅಗತ್ಯವಾಗಬಹುದಾದ ಸಂದರ್ಭವಲ್ಲದೆ ಅನ್ಯಥಾ ಯಾರೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ
Krishna Byre Gowda there is taking the oath. Remember, he was the previous agricultural minister in the Congress cabinet from 2013 to 18.
Finished taking his oath. He was also one of the few ministers, leaders rather, of the Congress party who were skipped out in the first round of oath-taking ceremony. He's also joined in now, and the powerful Gowda community, and therefore, as Akshara you were pointing out, need to represent everyone because the eye is now going to be on the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. That's also been the mandate for DK Shivakumar, because he continues as a state Congress chief to ensure that maximum number of MPs come in from Karnataka for the Congress.
Absolutely. Now, remember, he was the one who took up the reins of the KPCC. Remember, Siddaramaiah and Dinesh also senior leaders don't handle the Congress party here. They did voluntarily resign. It is during that time, DK Shivakumar took him as was appointed as KPCC by Sonia Gandhi, and he had promised Sonia Gandhi, which he has told that he will deliver Karnataka to the Congress party, and he worked very hard for it. If you take a look at the election campaigning or keeping the party together, together, ensuring that there is no aggressive campaigning on all means possible, and ensure that these efforts have been fruitful. And we can also sideline Siddaramaiah as well. He also was one of the most catchers of the Congress party here in Karnataka. He also has worked very hard to get in the MLAs, getting the votes for their MLAs, campaign the aggressively as well. But once again, Shivakumar was the strategist for all these MLAs together, and also party workers as well. Sure that our party workers campaign aggressively against politicians and get this political mandate. And right now, here in Karnataka, DK Shivakumar was, they are also telling that we are on a mission 20 back as possible. So, keeping that in mind, they have balanced cash information to ensure that they reach the voter base from all the communities, to ensure that they also not push out to the because they are not inspired. They are also.
Awesome lights.
The Congress has taken hugely. Just compare this to 2018. This is 2023 right now. 2018, look at the sea of saffron here. It was BJP 34 out of 56. The Congress only 19. But this time around in Karnataka, it's almost the opposite story.
The counting has begun. We have got the first call.
first one we are getting from Bellary City, constituency number 94, Zaka.
The Reddy brothers, Somashekar Reddy of the BJP is fighting. His brother Gali Janardhan Reddy has formed his own party.
Talking about Ramnagar.
Assembly constituency has around 1.5 to 2 lakh voters,
yeah.
Which means even if it is a voting percentage of 70 or 65, still it's a substantial number of votes which is yet to be counted.
Look at some of these rebels, some of them are winning.
Yeah.
For example, Lakshman Sawadi has
won.
And Jagdish Shettar, who's a former chief minister, 6 times sitting MLA from Hubli Dharwar Central. He's not winning.
Congress has sent out the news, ladies and gentlemen, an update. The Congress has asked all its candidates to come to Bengaluru.
Voter share which they have gained in these assembly elections, they want this result to translate into Lok Sabha polls as well. So if you take a look at the newly elected ministers who will be appointed today, who will be swearing in today, almost 78 members are from the Lingayat community, and next come the Okkalikas, and they also tried to balance the caste and subcaste as well. So the caste has been kept into consideration, and with this aspect, they have appointed all these ministers who will be taking vote today. So it's a bit of a surprise that very few senior leaders are also out of this. But once again, as I said, caste has taken the center stage here. So that's the reason why you're getting to see more of Lingayat leaders and Okkaliga leaders and other subcaste balanced as well.
But more than that also, Akshara, we've seen the kind of tug of war which took place between the Chief Minister and the Deputy CM. As far as those 24 ministers who've taken oath today, and in fact taking oath today, Akshara, has there been a kind of a division? My candidate, your candidate, has that balance also been maintained?
Well, you see, right after the CM post was decided, that as well started for the ministerial posts, there was a division between the Siddu camp and the DK camp. They both traveled to Delhi. There were a series of discussions, as you have covered there, and multiple discussions took place. Obviously, Siddaramaiah wanted most of his MLAs to be in the ministerial post as well, to get the ministerial post. At the very same time, DK Shivakumar he didn't let down his supporters or the MLAs from his camp. Even he wanted MLAs from his camp to win more numbers to be in the particular cabinet as well. But once again, if you take a look at the whole list, I do feel that the Siddaramaiah, the Chief Minister, had an upper hand in getting all his supporters and loyalists to get the ministerial post in this particular cabinet, with 24 ministers being sworn in today, along with the first 8 who swore in on a couple of weeks back.
Yes, and that I guess matters really, Akshara, because who's going to have that edge as far as the Karnataka government goes depends a lot on how many of your own people are into it. But in terms of caste balance, do you think more or less that has been maintained? Because I heard you say a short while back, because that's been one of the main considerations.
Well, as I mentioned, if you break down the caste of this ministerial post, 8 of them are Veerashaiva Lingayat, 6 are from OBC, 6 are from SC, and I think 6 of them from Okkaliga community and 1 from Brahmin Christian, and also 3 members from SC community as well. So they did a hard balancing act in order to keep the results which translate into Lok Sabha polls. That caste equation has been balanced. Remember, this has been done along with the exit parleys, tussle between the DKS and the Siddaramaiah camp. So they had to go through this particular balancing act. They have to balance the caste as well, take into consideration the senior leaders as well. And this time as well, they've taken the caste into primary consideration. Remember, senior leaders like Savadi and Jagdish Shettar, who quit BJP and joined Congress, they were also expecting ministerial berths. But right now what we are seeing is these both two leaders, senior leaders who are responsible for getting the voter share as well from the Lingayat community. Remember, these two leaders are from the Lingayat community, and Savadi played a very important role in the Mumbai-Karnataka region to get this Lingayat votes.
On 15th August 1947, independent India's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, delivered a speech in the Constituent Assembly inside the Parliament. I'm going to quote a part of that speech because that was called the tryst with destiny. He said, "A moment comes, which comes but rarely in history, when we step out from the old to the new." We are stepping out from the old to the new. Hello everyone, and welcome to the special broadcast where I'm coming to you live with both the Sansads right behind me. We have Professor Makhan Lal, who's a historian. Next to me, Sonal Mansingh, who needs no introduction, but still I'll say she's also a member of parliament. Also, Krishna Raju, member of parliament of the YSRCP, and Radhika Khera representing the Congress. Sonal Mansingh, how excited are you to step inside the new Sansad? And when you listen to this entire controversy, whether it should be about protocol, about, Sengol, what are your thoughts?
First of all, I'm in great excitement, excited anticipation. Can't wait. It's only day after tomorrow that I look forward to stepping in and listening to the speeches and really seeing the Sengol. And the Sengol is, of course, the Dharma Danda, the Raja Danda, and this is in the tradition of the democracy of India, which goes back thousands of years. And secondly, the controversy is the second name of Indian politics. So without controversy, there is no interest in life. And every day, when I go abroad, I miss all this, So
you have started relishing controversy around everything. Or will you not be saying, ma'am, that when it is about a young nation such as ours having that very important moment where aspirations of millions, billions are being realized, it should be free from controversy. It should be about rejoicing.
It's an old nation with a new identity at the moment, because thousands of years and now 75 years pitted against that. Never mind, as I said, that without controversy, any issue does not really gain importance. Second thing, that on such a historic occasion, if everyone doesn't come together, so be it, because each one to their own buddhi. Okay. One would have expected.
Okay, so you are of the opinion it's all right if...
It's not all right. I said it's expected that everyone comes together. But if they don't, how can you force anyone?
Okay, Radhika Khera, you cannot be forced, and 18 other political parties who are standing with the Congress cannot be forced. But do you think it would have been better had it not been about this boycott? It should have been about, let's come together, celebrate the new Indian Parliament.
Celebrate our Rashtrapati being insulted. I think it's pretty shameful that you are celebrating and you want to celebrate that the President of India, who is the first tribal woman President of India, is being insulted in this manner. She is the first citizen of the country and you're insulting her, and it is her right to inaugurate the parliament. Why is the Prime Minister so insecure that someone else's name will go down in history? Why does he only want his name? After all, at the end of the day, Modi Sarkar ka hi naam aayega, that they are the ones who build the new parliament. He will get that credit forever. Why? What is the harm in letting, and what harm? That is her right. Like I said, she is the first citizen of the country. Why is the Prime Minister so insecure? And it is very, very sad day for the country that she has not been invited.
Okay. Krishna Rajuji, YSRCP, your party president, was the first one of the regional parties to come out in support of the new parliament, and they said that, it will be about that grand celebration and your party will be part of it. The point being made about protocol. Is this right to raise the issue of protocol now?
See, let me give my opinion as a member of parliament. It's not that I belong to X party or Y party. As an independent, as a member of parliament, first I have to give my opinion.
Sure.
It should not be party based. It should be individualistic as far as this is concerned. Just because, suppose if had it been my party disagreed, even then I would have supported.
And you would have participated?
I would have participated.
Okay.
So, the Honorable Prime Minister, earlier he has laid the foundation. Why did not anyone talk about this at the time?
Okay, so you are of the opinion that the opposition should have happened at the time of inauguration?
Even at the time they should have, if at all they are keen. Just for the sake to create controversy, they are creating controversy. As Sonal Mansingh ji said, controversy is good. Controversy is good for good publicity. But when the Honorable Supreme Court also did not agree for this logic, and when the bench an hour back, it has dismissed some petition filed by someone. So it's for the sake of argument, but Who's the Prime Minister? Prime Minister has been elected by the public, and okay, many people were talking of, I had gone through the proceedings in the Supreme Court, they were talking of Article 76. Article 76 talks of the President, the Council of States, which is the Rajya Sabha, and the Lok Sabha. And the head of the Lok Sabha is the people's representative, is the Honorable Prime Minister. So what is wrong in the Honorable Prime Minister who has laid the foundation and who could complete that in a record time to, with his own hands, if he is doing the inauguration, as a member of parliament? Yes, even if as a political party, even if they would have felt that, okay, had it been Honorable President, it would have been better, but there is no point in boycotting such a great function.
Why boycott? You know, the point being made here is that the Congress party also boycotted the GST midnight session. At that time, both the Prime Minister and the President were present. So you have insulted the President and the Prime Minister then also. So in what capacity then are you talking about insulting the first citizen?
Let me make a few things clear. When Sir talked about that we did not raise our voice when the foundation stone was being laid, and our former President Ramnath Kovindji, who was a Dalit leader earlier, he was insulted. We did raise our voices and we made it very clear that that the Bharatiya Janata Party was also then insulting the President. So it is not that we did not raise that issue. Second thing, when he talks about that the Prime Minister is, he's the executive head of the Lok Sabha, absolutely. But the President, it's the President first, then you have both the houses coming under. So the President is the absolute head. So why not the President? Like I said,
why not the President?
May I say something?
Yes, please.
I am sure that this has been done with the total advice, suggestion and agreement with the President, Honorable President and Honorable Vice President. I don't think Honorable Prime Minister would do anything like this, of this nature, without talking to them. So we cannot presume that this is not done, this is done in their ignorance. Number two, I would like to say quickly that about the controversy, it's like the black dot on the moon. Nazar utaro, uske liye hum kala tipki lagate hain. So I look at it from that point of view.
Okay, Professor Makhanlal, you know, this entire issue which has been raised with regards to Sengol, you know, whether it actually symbolizes transfer of power. The Congress says no, the BJP says yes.
As a historian,
yes, please, historian.
As a historian, let me remind first two words. So much is being made out. Dalit president, tribal president. If you have such a regard, why did you oppose their election? Why did you put the candidate against them? Number one, if you have such a regard, hold on, I'm coming on that. President is the first person, first citizen in the country. So also the governors, the first president in the state. What happened when NXC was inaugurated by Mrs. Gandhi? Was there no president at that time? What happened when library building was inaugurated within the premises of present parliament? Was there no president? In what capacity Mrs. Sonia Gandhi inaugurated Manipur Vidhan Sabha? In what capacity? Was there no Rajyapal? In what precedent? She inaugurated Chhattisgarh, she and Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, they inaugurated Chhattisgarh Vidhan Sabha. In what capacity? Was there no Rajyapal? After all, when you talk about president, you talk about Rajyapal also. You look at your own conduct also.
So Radhika, the point is being made. I'll come to you on Sengol because since you have talked about history, you know, the question is that Congress in itself, you have not followed protocols. Yeah. So in the sense that you have Mrs. Gandhi, not even being an executive head, has gone ahead and inaugurated because it was her party governing those particular states.
I'm sorry, but Jisse kehte na, I don't want to use that word. Sir is very senior, so I will not use that Vaicharik ke upar Hindi word hai. But you know, comparing the governor to the president, I'm sorry. So
both
you
of
can't
them
compare.
have their own place in the constitution. No comparison. Sorry, don't distract. Don't please distract.
Let me complete.
The governor and president both have the independent position in the constitution.
Let me complete.
And president's position in the country same as Rajyapal in state.
Please let me complete.
Don't distract like this.
Go ahead, Radhika.
Yes,
do not compare the president and the governor. Second thing, by saying that the Congress did this, I'm sorry, that's a very, very useless argument. That is why we are going to insult the president of the country, because Sonia Gandhi ji inaugurated that. So we are comparing an annexing which was inaugurated.
You don't think governor was?
Please maintain some.
Governor was insulted. You don't.
I'm sorry, I cannot
Here
shout.
President is being insulted.
Sir, please.
Not governor.
Let's maintain that.
Okay,
respect.
okay.
Please.
Annexing and library building, please.
Comparing a library building or an annexing building to the entire parliament again is like comparing apples and oranges just because they're fruits.
Just look at the background. You have the new Indian Parliament and the old Parliament of India. This is what new India is. You know, everything that has been associated with the new structure, the Central Vista project, has been opposed by the opposition.
So the old parliament was also made by the Indian people money. The workers who worked to build that parliament were also Indian labourers. The sandstone which was made use was also from India. And it is, how old is the Indian parliament? There are countries in the world where there's France, England, or the US who have hundreds of years old buildings.
When I walk in the old parliament, I have to look every step down because there are upper khabar, slabs, there are iron things. It has just been holding up. It's been 1927 to 2023, and even Congress and Sheila Dikshit and so many of their people and everyone has said that we need new parliament building with the increasing number of members of parliament, increasing number of states and facilities. So that way I should keep all my torn saris because they've been there and not get any new cloth for myself, or not repair the house, or not go into a new house. No, I don't think this kind of a thing holds. New parliament is done by Indians. That was done in the British Raj, number one. Number two, it was a symbol of the British Empire, the imperial India, not democratic India. Okay. So I think we need to remember all these things, and we should welcome that so much thought and planning has gone into building this new parliament building. I can't wait to enter it.
You can't wait to enter it, but Professor Makanla, let's put the focus on Sengol, because the entire debate around that.
I'm sorry that entire debate is not around that. As you saw that it is being distracted in all the direction. But the fact is, every independent state has a symbol, and Sengol is the symbol coming at least from our recorded, not memory, memory goes long back, recorded history is 7th century AD, almost about 1500 years. This is there are two symbols called Rajdand and Dharmadand. Dharmadand is held by the chief conscience keeper, guru of the state, and Rajdand is held by the ruler. Recently, when Prince Charles' coronation was done, did you see the Rajdand being handed over to him? If not, what was being seen? Number two, this is a symbol exactly like flag, and Rajdand is always along with the one who is the chief. Here the Rajdand means parliament chief, and it is put exactly where it should be, where everyone sits as a member, including Prime Minister. He sits there as Prime Minister, but first he is a member, and Rajdand is above him. Just look at the location of it, and look at Rajdand is above, being placed than the Speaker. Certain things have to be understood in terms of tradition, in terms of symbol and the weight they carry. It's very important. All those, let me tell you, this was, I come from Allahabad, I had seen this. I had seen this first in Allahabad Museum, Municipal Corporation Museum, and then Anand Bhavan. I was born and brought up in Allahabad. अभी भी रोज हर 4 महीने में जाते हैं. It was said, walking stick, golden walking stick given to Jawaharlal Nehru. Why it was said? I am putting out the card, hear this carefully. In 1953, a delegation, French delegation came to India, travelled all over. Pondicherry was their first and last destination, obviously. Mother was there. They asked for the time to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Time was given 10 minutes and they praised, French delegation praised India's culture, civilization, its people, and say future of the world lies following India. And Jawaharlal's reply was, you are praising the very same things I am trying to destroy. ये published है, French में भी है, English में है. I am saying this on open on channel. I have said this on Sunset channel also.
Okay.
If the man was thinking I am trying to destroy everything, और उनका अपना लेख है, penned by him. I am a Hindu by accident. I am a British by education, and I am Muslim by culture, civilization, and taste. That is his own article.
Okay.
How can you expect any justice to Indian system?
So the point,
I'm quoting
here is,
not to anybody else.
And you have seen in the last few hours, several union ministers have done a lot of fact checking, as they say, to points that have been made by the Congress leaders. The charge is that the Congress party hates India's tradition and culture.
Where was the government for 9 years? Were they sleeping? Why did they not bring it to the whole parliament? Were they sleeping for 9 years? अगर इतना बड़ा हमारे देश का ट्रेडिशन है, इतना हमारा कल्चर है, 9 साल आप सो रहे थे, कौन सी कुंभकर्णी नींद में थे? For 9 years, why were they sleeping over it? They did not know about it for 9 years? He knows about it for long. Okay. It was there in the Allahabad Museum. It was there everywhere.
May I put in my word? Thank you. My colleague, the eminent dancer, Dr. Padma Subramaniam, has said on television channels that she translated an article in Tughlaq, the Tamil weekly, monthly, into English, which talks about Sengol. And for the first time, and she sent it to Prime Minister with her own note. And that is how the whole, because she's a historian like I am, you know, we are students of history, and nobody seems to have heard about Sengol till then. Another thing that the Tamil scholars now say that Tiruvalluvar, the great Tamil saint, poet, and the Thevarams are all about that. They speak about Sengol. Andal, who is like the Meera, our Meera in South India, she has sung, and the word Sengol appears there. The Chola dynasty, particularly the Cheras, the Pandyans also, but the Chola dynasty. Now we are not talking of monarchy, we are talking of the common good of the people. And this becomes a symbol of the state, the adhikar, the dharma, the justice for everyone. And it is not that Prime Minister is holding it in his hand, not like King Charles. That will be placed above everything. So I think there's a symbolism that we need to really appreciate and understand.
Okay.
They've given the supremacy to the Lok Sabha.
Yes.
Or the Parliament. So Parliament is supreme, where all the rules of the soil were made, and that supremacy is given to the Parliament, and the Prime Minister has kept it at the right place. He did not keep it with him, as ma'am clearly said. He has given that as the power to, he has enhanced, the Honorable PM has enhanced the power of the Parliament. He said, this is the house, this is the Union of States where the rules of the soil were made, and this is the supreme. The supremacy has been protected while protecting the tradition of the country as well as the supremacy of the Parliament. Hats off to the Honorable Prime Minister for this wonderful move of bringing the Sengol to the right place at the right time.
So finally, the Sengol is coming to the Parliament and is being given its right place.
The symbol
like I said, why was it not given its place for 9 years?
He's
why
not aware.
Why does everything be done?
I just mentioned,
why not
if you heard me, I just talked about that.
Can I speak for a minute?
And very sad that the same respect is not being given to the first citizen of the country. The Prime Minister goes on his trips when somebody unke pair chhute, वापस unke pair chhute. The Prime Minister should go and touch the feet of our President and apologize for not inviting her also. It's very sad. Yes.
This is a very solemn
sad day for the
democracy. For the nation. And let us remember, from 1992, during the time of Narasimha Rao as a Prime Minister and Ghulam Nabi Azad as a Parliament Secretary, discussion has gone on among all the parties, and they have all agreed that we should have a new Parliament. During Meera Kumar's time, plans were made. It's just another thing that project is being completed during different regimes. Regimes keep changing, but parliament is institution we all must learn to respect and participate, forgetting everything. Today somebody else is in power, tomorrow you will be in power.
Yes.
Don't forget.
The structure of parliament will remain.
Yes. Parliament is going to remain, and all of you have been party to the decision that we should have a new parliament building.
And perhaps the Honorable President of India would have authorized the Prime Minister to do this.
It is not without the consultation.
Otherwise, a very simple, basic question in layman's language. जब आपके घर में कोई बीमार होता है, उसको कैंसर होता है या बड़ी बीमारी होती है, तो पहले आप इलाज पे पैसे खर्च करेंगे कि वो ठीक हो, कि आप जाके नया घर बनाएंगे. That is how you manage. Of course, it would have been after Corona was done.
That debate got settled long back.
You remember those scenes when our workers had to travel barefoot?
No, but why is that job losses now?
Are we saying we don't have money to build even our own office? Are we so poor? Don't we have money to even build an office for the
questions?
Yes. So Sonal Mansingh has a question. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So in time of Meera Kumarji, when she was speaker, this was already drawn out.
Yeah.
Then why was it not the work not started?
So let me make this very clear. We are not against the new parliament building being made. We are questioning the timing. Let me complete.
Answer my question.
I'm answering your question. I'm coming to that and I will answer it. I'm not the Bharatiya Janata Party that I will shy away from the question.
You don't have to be so sarcastic, madam, at every sentence.
That's
Yes.
ma'am, you can't decide how to talk.
Please go ahead, Radhika, go ahead. Yes,
let me talk.
Yeah.
So let me complete. So there is a time and place for everything. Like I said, जब आपके घर में कोई बीमार होता है, तो आप अगर नया घर बना रहे होते हैं, तो उसकी construction you stop it. That is the same way. When the COVID was a problem in the entire world, not just India, we've seen how people have died. We've seen how oxygen was not available in our own Delhi. The Prime Minister was in Delhi. The central government is in Delhi. The state government failed. Yet the government did not come to help people.
Can we put the
of
debate
Delhi?
back on this, because that has been
on
settled.
the road.
Not true.
This can never be
It's
settled
not
because
true, not true.
when the country needed the money,
No, I'm
the
saying,
parliament was
no,
being built.
I'm saying.
Fact check, please.
Yeah,
Not true.
Okay, let's start wrapping this conversation. I'm just trying to understand, could the opposition, 19 parties that have come together and boycotting this, have handled it differently? It was not about protocol clearly. This is about one-upmanship which is playing out.
It's clearly about protocol.
Yes.
Like I again said, the first Dalit woman president, the first tribal woman president. You first insulted Ramnath Kovindji. You did not let him lay the foundation stone. Then you insult President Draupadi ji. Why? Why is she not invited?
Okay.
Why is she being taken away the rights? As women, all three of us should be standing with her. That
As
she is a
member
woman
of Parliament
president.
of ISRCP, your thoughts on the on 28th? It's how do you look at that day? Because for every citizen of India, that will be a day to watch out. Everybody will be clued in into television sets to watch the entire ceremony.
Yes, it's a special day for every Indian. So the building being built by British, we are coming out of that and we are entering our own parliament building built by us, and it is indeed the most prestigious moment. We are all looking forward for that time, and when it would become 12 on 28th, 12 p.m. on 28th, we are all looking for that. And I wish, whatever may be the differences with regard to whether it has to be built or not, that has been the main question as it appeared from ma'am's talk. So it has been built. It has been built with public money, and we all must respect that. And every Sansad, if he is a serious Sansad, must attend this, and as ma'am said, and only with the order of the Honorable President Draupadi Murmu ji, the Prime Minister is
Okay.
Well, I hope the
doing
president
this.
comes in.
Professor, a quick thought from you, and then ma'am gets the final word.
I personally feel that this parliament, new parliament, is a pride for this country. Till date, we had no parliament. We had the Princess Chamber built by British. It was not named parliament, it was renamed parliament. Now we have a real parliament built from our own vision, of our own vision, and for our own vision. My earnest request to all of them is, leave the Princess Chamber behind, move into Parliament of India. That is what I will request to all of them.
Wonderful. Sir.
I totally agree with Professor Makhanlal ji. I agree with him, and Radhika ji, Namaste to you for raising certain issues. Thank you. Last word. Let a most prosperous and auspicious period of Indian history begin with this wonderful, wonderful ceremony day after tomorrow, 28th May 2023. I salute my new parliament, the Sengol, and I salute my nation, Bharat. Vande Mataram.
Okay, on that note, I think we should just end this conversation. Yes. Thanks so much for watching.
Who've taken oath today, and in fact taking oath today, Akshara, has there been a kind of a division? My candidate, your candidate, has that balance also been maintained?
Well, you see, right after the CM post was decided, the Tarsal started for the ministerial posts. There was a division between the Siddu camp and the DK camp. They both traveled to Delhi. There were a series of discussions, as you have covered there, and multiple discussions took place. Obviously, Siddaramaiah wanted most of his MLAs to be in the ministerial post as well, to get the ministerial post. At the very same time, DK Shivakumar he didn't let down his supporters or the MLAs from his camp. Even he wanted MLAs from his camp to win more numbers to be in the particular cabinet as well. But once again, if you take a look at the whole list, I do feel that the Siddaramaiah, the Chief Minister, had an upper hand in getting all his supporters and loyalists to get the ministerial post in this particular cabinet, with 24 ministers being sworn in today, along with the first 8 who swore in a couple of weeks back.
Yes, and that I guess matters really, Akshara, because who's going to have that edge as far as the Karnataka government goes depends a lot on how many of your own people are into it. But in terms of caste balance, do you think more or less that has been maintained? Because I heard you say a short while back, because that's been one of the main considerations.
Well, you see, as I mentioned, if you break down the caste of this ministerial post, 8 of them are Veerashaiva 6 are from OBC, 6 are from SC, and I think 6 of them from Okaliga community and 1 from Brahmin Christian, and also 3 members from ST community as well. So they did a hard balancing act in order to keep the results which will translate into Lok Sabha polls. That caste equation has been balanced. Remember, this has been done along with the exit parleys, tussle between the DKS and the Siddaramaiah camp. So they had to go through this particular balancing act. They have to balance the caste as well, take into consideration the senior leaders as well. And this time as well, they've taken the caste into primary consideration. Remember, senior leaders like Savadi and Jagdish Shettar, who quit BJP and joined Congress, they were also expecting ministerial berths. But right now what we are seeing is these both two leaders, senior leaders who are responsible for getting the voter share as well from the Lingayat community. Remember, these two leaders are from the Lingayat community, and Savadi played a very important role in the Mumbai-Karnataka region to get this Lingayat votes. But right now he has not been given this particular ministerial post, but other Lingayat leaders have been given.
Do you anticipate that there could be yet another cabinet reshuffle which takes place, not immediately, but maybe after a couple of months? Because that's also how you keep the hope dangling.
Well, right now we don't expect any cabinet reshuffle, but we'll have to wait and watch how things will pan out. We're also getting in a word from these supporters of MLC DK Hariprasad. Remember, DK Hariprasad is one of the senior leaders of the Congress. He worked very hard for the party, but he missed out on a ministerial post. We are also learning that he's very upset with the fact that he has not been given a ministerial post. And also in the Raj Bhavan, supporters of Krishna, party leaders of the Congress party are gathered here. They are protesting, stating that their leader was serving given the ministerial berth. So these are the factors that might, impact the cabinet reshuffle, but it's very unlikely is what I see.
Okay. So it's not been easy. One, there are some sulking faces because some of them, like DK Hariprasad, Dinesh, Gundu, who I think should be taking oath in a short while from now. Akshara, they had also skipped the oath ceremony, and though they had given reasons like, okay, now let's, Akshara, just let's dip into the oath ceremony which is going on.
Krishna Byre Gowda ಎಂಬ ಹೆಸರಿನ ನಾನು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಮೂಲಕ ಸ್ಥಾಪಿತವಾದ ಭಾರತದ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಜವಾದ ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಷ್ಠೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರುತ್ತೇನೆಂದು ನಾನು ಭಾರತದ ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮತ್ವವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಅಖಂಡತೆಯನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೇನೆಂದು
इनको आपके लिए नरेंद्र मोदी के खिलाफ विरोध करने का बहुत अवसर मिलेगा। आप जाइए, विरोध करिए, लेकिन अपने प्रदेश की जनता का अहित क्यों कर रहे हैं आप? अभी तो चुनाव में लगभग 1 साल देरी है ना, लड़िएगा। लेकिन ये जब 8वीं गवर्निंग काउंसिल की जो मीटिंग है, जिसमें 100 विषय पर चर्चा होने वाली है और इन चर्चाओं से फायदा होता है, तो उसमें भी इस तरह करना यह बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, यह बहुत गैर जिम्मेदाराना है और यह बहुत जनविरोधी है। On behalf of the party, I would like to stress with all the emphasis at my command that this decision to boycott the meeting by 8 chief ministers, that's what we have learned, is totally irresponsible and is also against the public interest and interest of the people they govern in their states. ये मैं जरूर कहना चाहूंगा। तो ये विषय था, हम इसकी एक लिखित प्रति आप सबों को दे देंगे विस्तार के लिए, हिंदी और अंग्रेजी दोनों में। हाँ, लेकिन ये विषय बहुत महत्वपूर्ण था, तो हमें लगा आपको बताना चाहिए, पार्टी का स्टैंड रखना चाहिए और आपके माध्यम से देश को बताना चाहिए। धन्यवाद।
देवेंद्र परासर, इंडिया टीवी।
नीतीश बाबू को पहली बार बायकॉट कर रहे हैं क्या? अब मैं आज किसी व्यक्तिगत पर टिप्पणी करने के मूड में नहीं था। नीतीश कुमार जी द्रौपदी मुर्मू के शपथ ग्रहण में आए थे क्या? नीतीश कुमार जी 7वीं मीटिंग में आए थे क्या? तो मैं फिर कहूंगा, नीतीश कुमार जी आप मुख्यमंत्री हैं और माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री हैं, तो राजनीति आप अलग से करिएगा। आपको आने में क्या परेशानी है, ये तो सवाल है।
रविकांत राय, टाइम्स नव भारत।
रवि जी, जो मुख्यमंत्री इस बैठक में नहीं आ रहे हैं, उनका ये कहना है कि न आने का कारण ये है कि जो सेंटर का बिहेवियर है वो गैर बीजेपी शासित राज्यों के साथ वो सौतेला है, और कई बार ऐसा देखा गया कि ऑर्डिनेंस के माध्यम से उनके पावर को कम करने का प्रयास किया गया, तो हम क्यों आए?
ऐसा है, ऑर्डिनेंस के बारे में अलग से बातचीत होगी। अगर वो अपने राज्य के वरीय अधिकारियों के साथ बदसलूकी करेंगे, अगर दिल्ली भारत का कैपिटल है ना, तो मैं अब दिल्ली का विषय मैं इसको नहीं बनाना चाहता हूं, सिर्फ एक कमेंट करूंगा। दिल्ली सिर्फ केजरीवाल जी की नहीं है, दिल्ली देश की है। यहां राष्ट्रपति भवन भी है, यहां संसद भी है, यहां प्रधानमंत्री का निवास है, यहां हर राज्यों का अलग अलग निवास है, विदेशी मेहमान यहां आते हैं। तो दिल्ली को सिंपल एक छोटा शहर बताना ये उचित नहीं होगा। भारत के संविधान में इस बात की पूरी व्यवस्था है। और एक बात मैं और कहूंगा, क्या हो वॉशिंगटन, क्या हो पेरिस, क्या हो लंदन, क्या हो ऑटवा, हर जगह कैपिटल के बारे में एक विशेष व्यवस्था, क्या हो बर्लिन, हर जगह विशेष व्यवस्था है। तो जहां तक बात है ऑर्डिनेंस की, तो घूम ही रहे हैं विरोध करने के लिए, उसका विरोध अलग रखिएगा। लेकिन दिल्ली के लिए जो इस गवर्निंग काउंसिल में अच्छी बैठक चर्चा होगी, उसमें क्यों नहीं आते आप?
और कोई जी?
सर, नीतीश कुमार ने पार्लियामेंट को लेकर भी कमेंट किया है, बोला हमें तो पुराना ही अच्छा लग रहा था, उसी को विकसित करना चाहिए, नए बनाने की क्या जरूरत है। यही स्टेटमेंट अखिलेश यादव की तरफ से भी आया है।
इसके पीछे आलोचना नहीं है, इसके पीछे भाजपा और नरेंद्र मोदी जी के खिलाफ चिढ़ है। दिस कमेंट इज नॉट बोर्न आउट ऑफ एनी पर्टिकुलर genuine concern, but stems from a hatred against Narendra Modi in general, in particular and BJP in general. तो इसका हम क्या करें?
नीति आयोग की बैठक और देश का संविधान, देश के संविधान में मंत्रिपरिषद की कोई सामूहिक जिम्मेवारी नहीं। मंत्रिपरिषद अगर अधिकृत करता है तो उसका प्रवेश निषेध क्यों? ये तो निश्चित रूप से यह बताता है कि देश के संघीय ढांचे के विपरीत आचरण हो रहा है। ये कौन सा इंडिया आप बना रहे हैं कि देश के संवैधानिक प्रावधान का ही उल्लंघन कर रहे हैं। जो नीति आयोग ने मापदंड किया है विकसित और विकासशील राज्य में, वह घोर अंतर्विरोध है और आपत्तिजनक है।
नीति आयोग में तो अगर जाते तो आप लोगों को पता चलता कि हमने जितनी बात कही। हम तो फिर इस चीज को रेज करने वाले थे कि विशेष राज्य का दर्जा बिहार को क्यों नहीं दिया। और बताइए, जाति आधारित जनगणना जो केंद्र ने 11 में किया, आपको करना चाहिए था, और हम लोगों ने अपने राज्य में किया, तो इस पर तरह तरह का बात क्यों आ गया है। तो सब चीज को, और दूसरी बात है कि कितना भी जो डेवलपमेंट के लिए जो मिलना चाहिए और जो पहले होता था, उस हिसाब से कोई डेवलपमेंट के लिए तो केंद्र का वो मदद नहीं मिल रहा।
Full-on war between the government and the opposition governments on not attending Niti Aayog after boycotting the parliament's inauguration ceremony. Now, many of the opposition CMs have also boycotted the Niti Aayog. For example, Nitish Kumar certainly has, Arvind Kejriwal, the Punjab Chief Minister, and of course, Mamata Banerjee are among those who have skipped this particular meeting. Nitish Kumar, we already heard, he said what's the point of attending it, what government is pointing out, and Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad did that press conference a short while back saying that the whole idea of the Niti Aayog meetings is to give benefits of the central scheme to all the state governments. So they're going to miss out on funds and they're going to also miss out on the benefits. You are allowed to have your opposition to the centre or to the BJP, but the negative impact of this fallout of this opposition is that very often the people of these opposition ruled states who are boycotting the Niti Aayog meet are left wanting. And that's the war of words. It was actually triggered off with that ordinance which was filed by the government regarding the distribution of power appointment of officials between the Delhi government and the centre. We saw Arvind Kejriwal go from state to state. He's going to meet KCR, he met Mamata Banerjee, trying to get their support on the ordinance issue, especially in the July budget session of Parliament. Mamata Banerjee certainly has given that support, and even though she was expected to be there at the Niti Aayog meeting, she cancelled her visit last minute. That's one point which came in. Of course, the Punjab Chief Minister has also skipped it along with the Delhi Chief Minister, and that support has also come in from Nitish Kumar. He said, what's the point? Because I would have asked for a special package, which I would have not gone for Bihar. But it's not that the Congress has boycotted it. You see the Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister, who's very much present over there, and so is the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister there as well. The Prime Minister, of course, is going to do a wrap of this entire Niti Aayog meeting roughly around 5 p.m. when he's going to give that closing address. You can see those pictures up on your screens already of the Prime Minister in a photo op, but at the same time also addressing and greeting all of those who are attending this particular meeting. Okay, some news which is coming in from Haryana. The Haryana's Chief Minister was kept hostage for 4 hours in Mahendragarh district. This happened yesterday during a public dialogue he was having. In fact, the ML Khattar, the Chief Minister of Haryana, is out on a Jan Samvad Yatra. He has been staying at various villages, interacting with the people over the last couple of days. In fact, he was having a meeting with locals in one particular place where he was taking feedback, and he was also informing the official what needs to be done. Now, this incident happened at one particular village, and there was a demand by the locals. He announced it that it should be made as a sub-tehsil. He said, of course, he is going to take a decision on that. The next village he was supposed to visit and spend his night, the locals were instigated. They wanted the area too to be made into a sub-tehsil. And that's when the CM faced the heat of the people, and the people gathered in a large number. Khattar said that the demand is being considered. He gave it as assurance. However, there has been no incident of violence being reported. Chief Minister Khattar is back in the national capital, and in fact, he has been attending the Niti Aayog meeting. Okay, Nikhil is with us with more details on this. Nikhil, would it be seen as a serious security problem also for a sitting Chief Minister?
Well, Pallavi, we have spoken to a number of officials inside the Haryana government. They have been telling us that this is the program which is ongoing by Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar himself for a few days now. He has been going to different villages. He has been holding different yatras as well in different parts of the villages. In fact, in 3 days, he is covering more than 15 to 20 villages. This is the incident which has taken place yesterday. So the date of incident is on 27th of May. As far as the security lapse is concerned, this is not how it should be seen as what the officials of the Haryana government and the people close to CM are saying. They are saying that this was the demand which was raised by some of the local people, and outside the place where Chief Minister was spending his night. At that place, many of the locals were gathered. They were demanding for the sub-tehsil for their village. And they are also saying at the same time that they were instigated by the opposition party leaders. That's why they had reached out in decent number. They were raising slogans as well against Manohar Lal Khattar before leaving for the national capital Delhi to become a part of the Niti Aayog meeting. At that time as well, he has spoken to the protesters as well. He has assured that the demand is being considered. So this is something as how it should be seen.
And any word come in from the Haryana government yet about what really happened? What do they plan to do? Do they plan to take any action, or has a case been filed?
So far, what we do know is that there is no action plan in this regard is concerned, because we have spoken to a number of officials and also to the people who are very, very close to CM Manohar Lal Khattar. And to reiterate all the details, Pallavi, for the viewers who are now joining us on CNN News 18. So as mentioned earlier as well, that CM Khattar has been, he is not staying at his original place of residence. He has been visiting different villages in the part of the Haryana. He is going towards the Tehsil as well. He has been meeting people. He has been holding Jan Samvad Yatra. He is in fact presenting himself as one of those, because there is one resentment as well among the people that he is one CM who is non-Jat. He comes from the Punjabi Khatri community. So he has been trying very hard to become a part of the people. In fact, he has been wearing the clothes, wearing the libas as well as to what the people of villages usually do. He has been sitting on carts as well. This is something which has been informed to us by the officials. And in fact, they are saying that he is spending his night in some of the villages, and he has been out for many days. And at the same time, many of the senior government officials, they are also along with him, that if any of the direction has to be given, if any action needs to be taken, it could be done right then and there. And he is also connected with the UT Chandigarh as well. So there is this incident which took place at one village. There was a long pending demand by the villagers that it should be called as, and it should be termed as sub-tehsil. And at that time only it was decided by Chief Minister. He announced it then and there. And the next village which he was supposed to visit, there were locals who were instigated by the other political party people. They raised their slogans. They wanted their village as well to be termed as the sub-tehsil. They wanted the announcement from Chief Minister himself at that time only. So this is the reason why we can say that heat was faced by Chief Minister himself. Many of the people had gathered, but so far no violence has been reported and no FIR has also been taken into consideration.
All right. Many, many thanks, Nikhil, for putting that into perspective. We are going to shift focus to down south now. And that is the much-awaited cabinet expansion of the new Karnataka government has finally taken place. After much heartburn, 24 ministers were sworn in, and this is after a round of meetings between the top Congress leadership at the national capital, along with the Chief Minister, Siddaramaiah, and the Deputy Chief Minister, DK Shivakumar. The first cabinet meeting sworn in 24, and now the total goes up to 34 because 8 of them had taken oath along with the CM and the Deputy CM on 20th of May. However, many senior leaders like R.V. Deshpande, T.B. Jayachandra and B.K. Hariprasad have missed the bus. So they have not been sworn in. Akshara is now joining us from Bengaluru. So Akshara, the expansion is done. Happy smiles, but some of them are pretty unhappy.
Yes, absolutely. As you pointed out earlier, you were ahead of the oath-taking ceremony. You had supporters of M. Krishna, senior Congress leader here in Bengaluru. He also won it. Also won. His supporters were protesting in front of the Raj Bhavan, demanding that him to be considered in the particular cabinet as well. And on the other hand, in front of Chief Minister residence, we have supporters of DK Shivakumar. Remember, he was the law minister previous in Siddaramaiah's tenure, and he's one of the senior leaders. So he's also missed out on the particular cabinet berth. So his supporters are also protesting in front of Siddaramaiah's residence, demanding their still time. We can still give him a chance. He can work it out. That's the word coming in from the supporters, the camp of DK Kyathasandra. So on the other hand, we were discussing DK Hariprasad, one of the senior most leaders. He's also pretty upset with the fact that he's not being given any cabinet berth. Remember, he was also one of the top contenders for the Deputy Chief Minister post when it was still undecided whether they'll just stick to DK Shivakumar as the sole Deputy Chief Minister. That's his stature here in Karnataka. Even though despite being the MLC, he's one of the senior leaders who was in touch with the previous senior Congress leaders. He has a good stature in Karnataka politics. He missed out on the cabinet berth because of the when Congress decided to keep caste as the primary aspect of importance, state paramount importance to it. So a few leaders are still upset with the fact that they are not being given the cabinet berth.
Okay, Harish is also with us. Harish, how will you placate them? Do you think, and the same question which I was asking you earlier, do they have a potential of doing damage to the Lok Sabha elections, for example, coming up? And can we at a later date maybe see yet another cabinet reshuffle?
Well, a cabinet reshuffle perhaps around 2.5 years later is a possibility. That's something that has been indicated to the ones who missed out a cabinet berth this time. And also the ones who made it to the cabinet, they've been told that their performance will be reviewed and there's a possibility that they'll have to make way 2.5 years later for newer faces in the cabinet. That's something that's been made very clear. In terms of how the Congress party manages or wants to handle this disgruntlement, well, there are two aspects here. One, there are ones with which the Congress party believes might not cause much of a damage, don't have too much presence on the ground. And these are the leaders perhaps who are in their last leg, the ones who have already told that it's their last election, the likes of R.V. Deshpande, T.B. Jayachandra and others. And the party has spoken to them. The party believes that they might not cause much of a damage on ground there. The second aspect is leaders who are strong in their region, in their constituency. They've been told that they will be made a cabinet minister 2.5 years later whenever there is a reshuffle. That possibility is still there and they've been told to be patient. In fact, the party has ensured that whoever they're close to, whether it's Siddaramaiah or DK Shivakumar, both these leaders speak to them and ensure that there's no disgruntlement on the ground, there's no protest on the ground which will hit the morale of the Congress cadres. That's something that has been done. For example, earlier in the day, we've had Putrang Shanti meeting Chief Minister at his residence. He's been spoken to. And few others have been promised plum portfolios in terms of board and corporations. Remember, there are lucrative board and corporation posts which will be given to some of these MLAs that has been promised. Some of them have been promised Deputy Speaker's role and a role in the Planning Commission as well.
Okay, many thanks, Harish, for getting us those details. We're going to now shift focus back to the national capital, and this has got to do with the Naya Sansad or the new parliament building. Remember, yesterday the Prime Minister had tweeted after the first pictures went out of the new parliament building, asking the people to be involved in it, and he had told them that do give your voice over, your message, and I'm going to tweet all of them. Well, the Prime Minister has tweeted some of them and said that several people are expressing their joy on hashtag #MyParliament, MyPride, and through every emotional voiceover, they're conveying a spirit of pride that our nation is getting at a new parliament which will keep working to fulfill the people's aspirations with more vigor. So, Maria, the whole idea is Apna Sansad. The whole idea is a people's parliament, and I guess that's the whole idea of the hashtag #MyParliament, MyPride.
Yes, because I think the government has decided that this should be about nation's moment. That tomorrow, when the Prime Minister inaugurates the new parliament with the messages that would be played of the President and the Vice President, at that time it should be seen as People's Parliament, as you use that word rightly, Pallavi. And over the last few hours, we have seen the Prime Minister retweet, put out a number of quote tweets also of all those who have used that hashtag of my Parliament. The government feels that that is the only way they have to counter what has been an opposition narrative of potential insult or a sidelining of the President of India as the first citizen of India who should be inaugurating. So now the Prime Minister actually leading that entire government campaign and narrative building in which he's saying this is about my parliament, my pride. And a lot of people have started lending their support to this campaign. It is about emotions. It's about sending a message. that this is about aspirational India, and India of future needs a new parliament.
And the fact that the opposition is boycotting it, that is something which the BJP is making very clear is seen as a humiliation or insult to the efforts of the people who built this parliament in record time and also the entire idea of Indianness. Is that how the BJP is going to put it forward?
Yes, and the Congress and the opposition parties have disliked history and tradition. When a symbol is being installed next to the speaker's chair and given a place of pride, something that it should have got long back, this is what the